Hello, everyone, and welcome to the collective reading for 2024. Blimey, I nearly said 2023. 2024, amazing things going on. Pluto going from Capricorn into Aquarius. That's going to be one of the major changes. Obviously, we've got the two eclipses, the lunar and solar eclipses in the springtime and in the autumn time. And obviously we'll be doing readings for that as well. Yes, you will be getting a individual reading coming out, and I will try and do a live in the following week according to the yearly readings as well. So yes, thank you very much for being here with us. It's absolutely pleasurable. Let's just go through what is we're going to be reading today. So the overall energies, karmic message for our spiritual path collective, and for our material path collective, and then we go from sort of like through the season. So we're going through the first 3 months, second 3 months, third 3 months, fourth 3 months. So January through to the end of March, April through to June, July through to September, and October through to November. October through to December. Okay, so yeah, I think it's going to be a real. I'm looking forward to 2024. I thought 2023 we were going to really own it, and we did in a way. There was spits and spurts where we sort of got it together, but I think 2024 is going to be the one that's going to sort of set the tone for a very long period in the future. But it's all going to be very strange over the next sort of 10 years, and that's due to the energies that have been going on. And if you've seen anything with what's going on with the sun, there's been a lot of energies flying around at the moment, and it's not helping with the consistency of things, really. So, yes, let's just get on with this. Let's just see what's going on here. Overall energies on the collective is justice. I think this is where we're going to get our just desserts. I think within the first 3 months of this year, I think things are going to come to the surface, and people are going to start saying, right, okay. And this is what that justice card is all about. You've got the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom there, and I think that's going to spring into position where I think the majority of people are going to stop following buzzwords blindly. That's what I think. I think it's a case where the justice system, we've got the wild card as well wanting to jump out, is a whole new cycle coming up. I think 2024, and it starts very early on, straight out the gate in January. I think it's going to be really setting the tone for the coming year, and I think that's what that justice card is all about. And when I've been talking about the what's it called, the common sense evolution, basically. And yes, and I think this is it. So we got on our karmic mission, we've got the judgment card in our spiritual path, and this is what that's all about. It's about that whole idea of sort of responding to our true calling. That's what it's all about. Totally responding to our true calling and rising up, but not rising up as in revolution. It's a spiritual thing. It's finally getting to our true calling and sort of noticing the sort of, as I say, buzzwords that sort of, are just there to sort of provoke and manipulate the people that are in the world. And I think that people are going to start really seeing through it. The veil is becoming very, very thin. And I think that's what it's all about. On the first 3 months, yes, we get the Ace of Pentacles. As I said, I think it's going to start off very early on. There's obviously something coming through on the spiritual sense where we're taking control of our environment. That's what I feel. There's a physical control over our environment, and the spiritual sort of sense where we're sort of saying, morally, no, that's not correct. That we don't do that. As humans, we don't do that. As a collective, we don't do that. As a power structure, yes, you do that. That's only because you want to remain in power and terrorize people, in regardless of what it is, in all the sort of senses. I've got a runny nose. I'm going to have to blow my nose at some point. I have to find myself a hanky first. Yeah, and it's this new start. It's this whole sort of thing. Look at that for the straight out of the pack. You know what I mean? That's what we're going to get. Overall energies of that justice and that Judgment with justice is just, yes, if you step into your power, if we step into our raison d'etre, our reason of being, then we're going to get that justice, because that's what the overall energy is about. And this is where we're stepping into it in a physical sense. And I feel like that, it's our acts that are going to be important here in the first 3 months of this year. And we're going to be changing things, and because of the way we act and the way we react as well to what is going on around us. In the second month, we get the Ten of Wands. It may seem like a big deal. It's like after a big snowfall, you're looking out there and you're kind of going, oh, I've got to clear that pathway and that driveway, and there's a lot of snow. What do I do with it? And it seems like there's a sort of, it's a long road. And we've got to understand this. We can't give up on this road. And I think between March and June is this period where we will be realizing what things we want to keep, what things we want to let go of, because we can't do everything. So I can't clear all the snow off from in front of my house. I've just got to clear the pathway that leads to the front door and the driveway that leads, it allows me to drive into my house, as it were. And I think this is where we're selecting now and not trying to do everything, because we're on a pathway that is that common sense, that we realise that we could try and do everything for everybody, but that's not common sense. People do have to come up and stand up and be counted, and I think that's that's going on there. And I think in the second month, the second period, in the spring period, I think this is where we're going to realise we can't do everything for everybody. Individually we have to take part, and that's where the collective then really comes into play. And the moment we start realizing it, that's when things start going on very quickly. So going from the June through to September, this is the summer period in the northern hemisphere, winter period in the southern hemisphere. This is where things are going to start moving on, and I think it's going to become even more blatantly obvious, this new pathway, this new karmic pathway that we're taking here and really engaging with life. It brings a lot of victories, a lot of quick victories. It gives us also a direction where we go in that direction really quite quickly. During the summer period and the winter period in the southern hemisphere, I think things are going to move very, very quickly. And if we are in alignment with that, if you are in alignment with that and collectively in that alignment, then collectively we can really start taking some bold steps towards spiritual enlightenment, really collectively, and realizing that we have our place. And in order to take that place, we have to collectively stand together and stand as one and stand up, basically. And that's that whole sort of that sort of summer period there in the northern hemisphere and the winter period in the southern hemisphere. It's going to start going on really, really quickly. And then we get the Queen of Pentacles. Once it starts motoring this sort of change and this spiritual awakening in a physical sense, this is the important thing for this year, because Pluto is coming out of Capricorn. It does go back into Capricorn during this period here, but then after that it's pretty much into Aquarius, and that's where we get all that sort of creativity, that humanizing of things, being common sense, making things, because Aquarius, you're very common sense people, and that common sense can be applied to the collective, and this gives us this security and knowledge of where we're going forward. And I think once we go into that autumn period leading up to sort of like the solstice at Christmas period, and the solstice period, the winter solstice or the summer solstice if you're in the southern hemisphere, you just know instinctively, collectively, we know that this is a good path, and this understanding comes from the very beginning, and it's the pathway that we're going down during the year, comes to the end where we collectively, spiritually, emotionally, energetically, we're just sort of getting in line with what we should be and where we should be going. And that's going to, I think, provoke a lot of advances within technology, within, our connection to technology and everything like that. It's going to make our evolutionary process go even quicker and be a lot more secure. And being secure doesn't necessarily mean financially being secure and everything like that. It means just being secure with your neighbour, with your community that you live in, just feeling at one with everybody and sort of really building it up. It's like we're all playing on the same side for the first time. That's what it feels like to me. Really nice. On the spiritual front, very, very nice. Let's just see what's going on the material side. On the karmic path, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Yes, with this judgment and this realization in the spiritual side, it is a time to get, and because it's very much in the physical sense with that Ace of Pentacles, collectively, it's now our karmic mission is to get on and do, basically. There's no doubt about it. Start planting those seeds for a brighter future, for a future that is not just one generation, it's multitudes of generations. If you understand the concept of reincarnation, the seeds you're planting today, you will reap in another life. And that may well be the understanding that we come through on the spiritual front. And that's what provokes on the material side, where we sort of kind of go, well, let's just get on and do then. Because if I'm going, it's no surprise that royal families, they understand this. That's why power gets passed from one to the other, one to the other, one to the other. And that's with the highbrow schools or Ivy League schools. They know that it's generating for their future sort of their future selves, as it were. Because we do reincarnate within from time to time within the same families, and our families are spread across the world. It's you don't have just one family. I'm not just European or African or South American. With your guides will eventually be the spirit that's in the body, and you will be the guide. So let's just say I'm a European, born European. But my guides here are from Africa, China, and all over the place. And in the next life, I may be just guiding my African spirit guide here, who is living in the body. So, and I will experience living in Africa through that spirit there, and collectively we make up a soul. That's how it works, people. And once you start realizing this, that everything you do is not just for you in the here and now, and then it starts going into multi-lives, reincarnation, that's when you start building for a brighter and better future. Because you're not doing it just for you, you're doing it for your future self. And getting on and doing it. Excuse me. In the first 3 months, we get the Temperance card. Mulling things over. I think this is waiting for the outcome of that. I think this year is going to be spiritually led year, and with the common sense and the practicalities of that common sense revolution that is really on working its way through now. This is where we've understood that spiritually of how to sort of apply ourselves in the physical world. This is where the physical world will then have to sort of wait for the sort of situation and see how it sort of goes within the spiritual sense, and that's when we can start applying. So our pathway is to start planting those seeds for a brighter future. But in the first 3 months, I think we're going to have to wait and see how the dust settles in the material front before we can really kick off. Let's just see what's going on here. Repetitive nightmares. This is funny because you've got the Ten of Wands on the spiritual side, and I think this is where we're choosing. On the spiritual side, as I say, we're choosing what we put our energies into, our passions into, and realizing that we've accumulated lots, and we don't want to be able to. It's not a case of doing everything for everybody else Everybody has to play their part and be involved in it. And I think this is going to rinse out, and I think this is where the end of Pluto in Capricorn, in this section here, where we get this respite of Pluto in Capricorn. And believe me, I am Capricorn, and I have felt it real hard over the last 3-4 years, Pluto. It's amazing how reality keeps coming back round, through major loops over long periods of time. And I think this is where we're observing and making it blatantly clear that there's a repetitive thing. And this is where the buzzword comes in and the manipulation. I think we're seeing through this. And I think that's what that patience is all about. And as we're patient with life around us, this is what allows us to see the repetitive nightmares that have been dealt for us in... I've had that card upside down, haven't I? Because we're coming to the end of that 9 of Swords. And we're moving on from repetitive things like, where conflict... And you just kind of, you're looking at conflicts around the world and you're kind of going, are you serious, people? Do we have to go back through this? This is why they don't last for very long, the conflicts. Because no one's got the stomach for it. No one's got the stomach for it. Only little spoiled brats of wherever you come from. And I don't care what your beliefs are, where you live, who you are, where you're from. I think everybody, the majority of people in the world, regardless of where you are in the world, are sick to death of you kids just causing mayhem and just pain in the backside. Just grow up. I think that's the attitude we got to take. Just kind of start saying, just shut up. We don't want to have nothing to do with you. If you can't contribute to something collectively where we construct something, don't want to hear it. If you can't resolve your problems with someone, then move away from that person. And it may be a case where we have to take over regions and just kind of say, right, okay, that's it, everybody out. We're going to turn this place into a massive museum. That's all it's going to be. No one owns it. It's just a museum of human history. That's the sort of thing. And that's that sort of repetitive nightmare that's coming to an end. Repetitive nightmare of economical warfare against, the populace. It's just absolutely, all of this stuff is going to change. It's got to, if we really want to go forward. And this is where we get the Page of Swords now. So I think with this realisation, that was a bit of a Barney, wasn't it? With this realisation, this Page of Swords then opens up a new pathway, which we can then cut through the mist, be very decisive within our mental application, within the physical world, and certainly with the Chariot on the other side. I think this is where the two sides are now really starting to come together. During the summer period in the northern hemisphere and the winter period in the southern hemisphere. This is where we start really moving on, and I think this is also where the technology comes into play. The ideas that are brought forth in order to help the human race and to evolve and to get into alignment with what we're living on this planet. And with the planet itself. I think it's starting a whole new pathway that we're learning about, a whole new economical structure. We're learning about, how we physically engage with one another internationally or collectively. It's just opening lots and lots of ideas. Thank you. It's with this technological evolution, it's going to open up lots of ideas of where we can take this world and where we can take the collective in a whole new direction. It's going to be really beautiful. And then you get the Seven of Swords. And this is from these ideas. This is where we can really start playing smart. This is where we can go off on a venture, nullifying any conflictual situations before they actually happen. That's what the general outcome is from the material side. And it's no longer fighting over materials. It's no longer fighting over technology. It's realizing that that technology should just be shared about. It's within the collective. It's within the collective advantage. No, not advantage. Is it benefit? That's what I'm saying. Within the benefit here, and I think this is where we're going to start playing smart in the physical front. And I think it's got a lot to do with as well of vote with your penny in your pocket. That is going to be a majorly strong thing. Decide where you put your money into things, and I think this is what has to do with that new ecological ecological as well, but economical situation which is coming to the fore, where we can really start making the economy work for everybody, and I mean everybody in the entire globe, rather than just as individual states and what have you. And it is looking after each other. And if I'm sure, you know what I mean. I've been to Africa. I've been to Kenya. I've been to Morocco in northern Africa and stuff like that. Amazing place. Absolutely loved Africa. Really did. Beautiful place. Beautiful people. Very innovative and stuff like that. And regardless, obviously there's a major issue with immigration, on migration, and economical and ecological migration at the moment. And it's basically because we're not looking after our neighbours. If we looked after everybody, make sure everybody was okay, no one's going to want to leave their homeland. Pretty much. No one's really going to... There's going to be a small amount of people that do want to, and that's fine. But at the same time, if it's absolutely brilliant, if we start investing companies into Africa, for example, and it provides a lot of job and provides them with a very strong economy and stuff like that. If we start investing like that with the way in which we spend our money, then there's no reason for Africans to come to, say, like the United States or the UK or Europe and stuff like that, because they've got enough jobs over there, and it's an absolutely beautiful place. It's the Garden of Eden in a way. Why would you want to leave it? The only reason people have to leave it is because it's an economical nightmare over there, and it's very difficult for them, and it will resolve a lot of the wars and what have you. It's a great possibility of being really, really smart of how we do this, and I think this is where we're going to have to bring people into account, such as governments and ways in which we govern the world, basically, and govern ourselves, because that's what we're doing. We're giving over the right to governing ourselves, and I think we now need to sort of take a conscious stand in how we do that in regards to money and how we spend our money, and don't just go and buy stuff to fill up your house with loads of rubbish that you don't really need. It's much more fun having fun with someone else than just having fun all by yourself. Even if you look at people, young people doing gaming and everything like that. I've got kids. They don't particularly do a lot of gaming, to be honest, my kids, but playing online with one another is really interesting. I know a lot of kids that they may be up in their room and on their own, but they're not. They're actually playing online with other people. So it just proves that being with other people is just ultimate way of enjoying life. And I think that's going to become more and more important, basically, as we go forward in life. Not everybody has to have a PlayStation. You could have like really good cafe bars where you could go down and you can play with your mates on direct, sitting down, having a cup of coffee, playing the PlayStation, getting out and about. I think that should be really important. So we don't have to produce so many PlayStations. I pick on PlayStations, could be Xbox as well or anything like that, That's what the sort of thing that needs to happen. Let's just see what's going on the on with the Lightseers card. See what's going on here. Justice, yeah, we're getting the Ten of Pentacles. This is what the overall energy wants for us. This is what the justice wants for us. It's abundance and realizing that we have everything that we need in order to make this transition, because that's what we're going through collectively. That's what we're going through energetically with pole shift and everything like that. We're going into a stage here where we've got to realize we do actually have everything that we need. We don't need more. What we need more of is that common sense and that connection to energy and that way of living life in accordance to that common sense, and actually getting involved with people around you in a very beautiful way, in a sociable way. As I explained, sort of going to play your online games together in a place where you can have a coffee and everything like that. That's going to help people with other jobs, and everything. It's where you put your money. It's all about it. And I think this justice is sort of saying we have all the abundance that we possibly could ever need going forward. And once we stop wasting a lot of time, effort, money, minerals, resources, we're going to realize that actually we've got pretty much everything that we need to really evolve collectively. And I think this is what Pluto has been rinsing out of the human race or the collective over the past 15 years where it's been in Capricorn, or 15 or whatever number of years it has been. And this last year has really been getting the last little drops out of it that don't need to be there, and making it pristine and new and really clean and orderly. And this is where we're going towards, and it's realizing that we have just ultimate abundance. With the 9 of Pentacles on the karmic path, with our justice, with our judgment. So look at that. With justice, you get the 10 of Pentacles. With the judgment, you get the 9 of Pentacles. You couldn't ask for better than that. To realize how brilliant this new cycle is, because it's all to do with the physical engagement of the spirit in this world. In the way in which we engage physically our emotions and our spirit and our energy into this world in a very sort of combining relationship side. This judgment is to realize of that abundance that we have. That's what that judgment is, and realizing our calling. And the moment we do that, that's when the 9 of Pentacles come into play, because we're going to get all the results or all the resources that we need as we gradually go down that path and go forward. And these rewards, or this the abundance is going to be there every single step of the way. There is a lot of communication goes on in here with that bird at the in the 9 of Pentacles. There's a lot of communication going on here, so it's physically communicating with one another. I think is really important this year. Talking to people, even if you're out and about and you're walking through town, and you cross eyes, not like that, but I mean, like, if you you connect eye contact with someone, just sort of say hello. That's all you need to do. And before you know it, it's going to knock down all those barriers that has been put up by other people and organizations to divide and rule, basically. And that should be coming to an end now. We should be grown up enough to realize that that is not the way forward. Okay, with the Ace of Pentacles, you get the 4 of Cups. We could well be disappointed in the past. I think there's a point where we're going to actually look into the past and kind of going, I can't believe I put so much effort into my spiritual path that I can't believe that collectively we're still in this position. That is one aspect of it all. There is another aspect of it here where, with this Ace of Pentacles here, this combining of the 3 of Cups, that 3 of Cups is the sociable side, it's the collective, it's the way in which we have fun with one another, engaging in one another. That sort of sociable side is we're sort of distilling all of the past into that 1 cup, that Ace of Cups there. And that's where we should be going in our collective spiritual path. And in this first month, once we start engaging physically in the world around us and noticing the change from Pluto that is going from Capricorn to Aquarius, this is where we can distill everything into that cup that is the ultimate sort of goal and desire for everybody, I think, collectively, to be at one with one another, to be at one with oneself, to be at one with nature. And this is where the new pathway, the spiritual pathway, is no longer love and light, as it were, because that's very etherical sort of ideas. We're now getting into sort of kind of going, are you okay? Would you like a cup of tea? Should we go for a cup of tea? And we can chat about things. Do you want to go and play something? Do you want to go for a walk? It's a physical connection now. It's all very well sort of saying, I pass you my love and everything like that. But at some point, we've got to physically, show that through acts of it. With the 10 of Wands, we get the 9 of Cups. So we've got 2 9s on the spiritual sort of side now. 9 is that perfect number. It is the linchpin number in mathematics in a way. And this is where once we realise that we're carrying too much, we can't do everything for everybody. And there's some things that individually we need to do to make that contribution to the collective and realise we shouldn't be carrying too much. All of a sudden, we're going to realise that we've got a lot to offer one another. And not just, if I've got a lot to offer the rest of the world and you've got a lot to offer the rest of the world, you're going to be offering me loads of things. It's a win-win situation here. It's almost win-win-win situation here. Just by realising that we just don't need to take on everything on board. And that's what comes through on that sort of realising of carrying too much, of trying to do too much, trying to make it perfect for everybody else, rather than just sort of kind of being that common sense, saying, look, I'm doing what I can on my side. I can only guarantee you from my side. I can't talk for anybody else. I can only guarantee you from what I'm doing. And that's that sort of attitude. And once you start doing that, that's when you realise that, there's a lot of things that you can offer the world and the world can offer you. And I think it's a real fair exchange. With the Chariot card, we get the King of Cups. Nothing but cups coming out down this side here. It's all to do with love in a way, but in a very physical sense. The King of Cups is come to a great understanding, the King of Cups. It's emotionally engaged without being emotionally erratic. That's what the King of Cups is all about. And it's this stability and this serenity. So when you're in this happy place just is continually sort of rolling out for some period of time, rather than just being, 5 minutes, sort of like endorphin hits from sort of likes and everything like that. Short-termism is going to come to an end. And I think once we start working to this is where we can be really emotionally engaged in this fast-changing world, spiritual world, emotional world, religious world, all of that sort of thing, energetical world, as it's changing very quickly. We're going to be in such control over it because there's a lot of people that's already done the work. And I think the people that have already done the work, it's not a case of just sort of saying, I've done the work, why haven't you done the work? It's not a case of that. Just sort of kind of saying, I've done the work, now I'm going to put it into practice. And then eventually people will start kind of going, oh, look, Bob there or Jane there is, they've done the work. Look at them, they're putting it into practice. Wow, maybe I can learn from them just by doing. That's what it's all about. By doing and giving an example, just by living life. Being the change you wish to see, that's that whole sort of thing. And this side here, on the spiritual front, I think it's very, very physical. With the Queen of Pentacles, we get the Tower. Yes, this is Pluto going back into Capricorn just for 1 month during this period here. And I think this is what brings in this solid understanding about where we're going, because this then brings to the forth the Tower moment. It's not a Tower moment within us. It's a Tower moment within our collective, where we realise things and we can let go of power structures, configurations that were in chaining us to a way of being that we know, that we shouldn't be like that. There's some things that are happening in the world, and I think the majority of people are sitting there kind of going, I cannot believe it. It beggars belief sort of scenario. And I think this is where people are just going to be, and I think the Tower moment could be the fact that we know where we're going, we have that confidence in the energy, in spirit, in the universe, in the vibration, in the earth. And when we have that confidence, we can turn around and sort of say, we're going here. Get rid of all of that crap. And that is going to be a real tower moment for everybody. It's going to be easier for some people because they might have done the work in the past. And I can only ask, I can only hope that you do that work. I'm not hope. I can only, I only want you to do that work within you, so you feel very good about life within you. And once that work is done within you, I don't have to worry about you. That's the beauty of it all. I don't have to worry about you. So now I can start, pushing my consciousness into other things that is going to help things to really grow into a beautiful outcome. Okay, let's just see what's going on the physical side. Oh, there's two cups that want to come. There's two cards that want to come out here. Really beautiful. Get on to doing the work. Yeah, stop your fighting and conflict. Stop it. It's that internal conflict. Stop the external conflict. Just start being the best example of yourself that you should be. And you know it when you're being the best example of yourself. And the other thing here is the Hierophant. Yeah, my most favourite card in the pack at the moment. That Hierophant is learn a lot about the spiritual side. And this is what I'm saying. The spiritual side, I think, is going to influence the material side a lot more in the world. The Hierophant knows the steps that need to be taken in order to get to the ultimate dream of being that star in the heavens that everybody across the universe is looking out, kind of going, wow, look at that star shining, and that's us. That could be us. And I think we know those steps that we need to take and the actions that we need to put into place with the Knight of Pentacles in order to get there. It's pretty obvious, people. You don't need any governance. You don't need controlling bodies in order to do this. You can feel it within you. With the Temperance card, you get the Ace of Cups. Yes, I think it's being patient with yourself, patient with spirits, patient with our love and our emotions, being patient with the situation because of the change that's happening in the spirit, within our emotional side of life, in our collective. This is where the patience coming through, and it's patience and allowing that sort of that oneness, that offering of our heart and that offering of that sort of investment into our future lives, which is going to be really important. And this is where this patience can sort of help us to sort of assess the situation and assess it according to what we should be doing and the heart's desires of where we should be going, and then that's when we can start sort of getting rid of those, those repetitive nightmares, which we're seeing with the Nine of Swords. I've just realised we've now got 3 9s on the table. Let me see if there's not another one. We got 3 9s on the table, and each one, there's Pentacles, Cups and Swords. We might even get the Wands in the coming future. But this is what this star's all about. If we want to get to that, if we know the steps we need to take in order to get to that, and if we stop that stupid internal and external conflict within the world and start planting those beautiful seeds, those nightmares and those repetitive things, those annoying things, those stuck in a rut sort of things, are all going to come to an end. And we're going to start reaching for the stars and being that light that the universe can look at and kind of going, that's planet Earth. Amazing place. They really understood, and being that shining example for everything, for the rest of the universe, I think is really, really important. Let's just see what's going on with that Page of Swords. This is that new pathway that is being opened up during the autumn period, during the summer period in the northern hemisphere, and the winter period in the southern hemisphere. Did I say that the wrong way around? Might have done. Don't know. Summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere. Offerings. This is what that is all about. I think finally that's starting to come through, where we are starting to offer just pure love and abundance to everything that is around us, and it comes through great ideas of way in which we do things. And there's a lot of opportunities being offered here, the new economy, new way of doing things, new riches, new wealth within the economy, working things in a completely different way because it's orientated via that cup, that holy grail, as it were, within you. You know, taking out all the religious connotations connected to a holy grail, but you know, that sort of ultimate cup of realization of what we can be comes to the fore, and this is what is being offered to us here, and it comes through great ideas. And it's going to help the evolutionary process on our technological front, on our physical front, on everything that is in the world around us in a very, very beautiful way. It's going to provoke a lot of gifts. I think that comes through within the material world, and realizing it because we're realizing the abundance. That's when I think we start realizing the abundance on the physical front within the material world. Is it in the is it in the summer and winter periods, northern and southern hemisphere respectively? So let's just see what the overall outcome is in the end of the month. So we get the Six of Cups. Yeah, we got the Seven of Swords here, and I said sort of like with those ideas, playing smart and everything like that, cutting through the mist, seeing things for what they are, getting on and doing the work we're supposed to be doing, because that's what's on our karmic path there. You know, stopping all forms of conflict, external and internal. And as we're going into the autumn period, or in the northern hemisphere, spring period in the southern hemisphere, this is where we're playing smart according to our past. We're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. This is really important. Shouldn't forget at all where we've come from, and because otherwise we'll forget where we're going, you know. And it's not a case of kind of going, oh, this part of our history was really bad, so let's take everything down and forget it ever happened. Take it out of our history. No. Keep it in, because if we don't keep it in, we risk to do something stupid in the future, because we've forgotten that we actually did that in the past. And that's what that playing smart is all about. It's almost making peace with one another and our past, in order so our future can be very peaceful. That's what it seems to be here. And realizing that actually the journey of evolution is, you know, of what we've done so far has been absolutely brilliant. It's been amazing. And we should really celebrate with that. You know, I think that's really important. Right, I'm going to pull a few cards on the Earth and the Sun. See what's going on with the Earth and the Sun and the energy in regards to pole shift. And I'm just going to pull sort of 4 cards here. Let's just pull them out for this one here. We got the Three of Cups. Yeah, getting into. I'm going to put them down here. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to put them up here. So this is for the first 3 months here, the Three of Cups, and this is to do with the energy and the Earth and the Sun. It's a celebration, the pole shift energy. Yes, it's going to cause major, you know, ecological and geological sort of situations. It's also electrical situations that are going to be doing, but it can be a celebration of a period that's ended, a real epoch. And we're talking like a 48,000, 24,000, 250,000, you know, year epoch, and we're really celebrating the new era that is coming in with the age of Aquarius, and you know, in a certain extent. And I think this is in the first 3 months we can really start celebrating that, and the world will be celebrating that and creating a little bit more sort of with the Sun and the Earth, maybe creating a lot more consistent energy that's coming through with us. And then we come to the Judgment. So this could be really something to do with this is why I'm getting a lot more sort of solar flares and stuff like that, which you know, is fire and air energy, but it also is going to have a bit of a knock on, and that goes into this section here. So let me just put it. Let me put it down on this side here. You know, it's with this section here, with the ten of Wands and the nine of Swords, and then you get the Nine of Cups and the Star card here. I think this is what this Judgment comes in, and this relates to this as well. And it may be like that there is a, during between March and June, there could be like the last of the solar flares for this season, this solar cycle. It could be the last of the flares that just sort of kick in and make us realize how small we are. A bit of a judgment there, and make us really focus on on that judgment of that evolutionary process that we are going through, and helping, in hard times, collectively, we will pull together. And I think that's what the sun, the sun, the earth, and energy is trying to do for us at the moment. Trying to do for us in that period there. And it's, sometimes you need to prune the tree in order to get the best fruit. And it could be a case of pruning some of the tree here with that judgment card. But it's going to actually help us to realize where we're going to. Then after that, we get the Six of Pentacles. Fair exchange. Yes, fair exchange between us and our environment. I think this is where nature is going to start dictating that relationship. I think it seems to be coming through with sort of summer period in the northern hemisphere, winter period in the southern hemisphere. I just seem to get a lot of water, a lot of rain, a lot of lot of volcano activity, that sort of thing. I think here is like, it's almost as like the world and the sun and energy is sort of turning around to the human race and kind of going, okay, kids, adults back in the room, we're taking back control. The idea that we can run a planet, the environment of a planet, my God. We can't even get along with one another, with our neighbours. Do you really honestly believe that we're going to be able to control the environment of an entire planet? You are crazy. If you think that, you're loopy. You are nuts. If you think you're going to save the world, you are the most cretinous person in the entire world. You cannot believe that. And this is what I think the Six of Pentacles is all about. It's going to give us that lesson in fair exchange, and sort of say the earth and the sun and the energy is just going to turn around and sort of say, do you know what? We're taking control. And we are they are the ultimate reasons why life exists on this planet. And we forget that. And they have the control. And that's what they're going to start doing here. And that's what the fair exchange is going to be all about. And we're going to realise that actually we're getting a lot less. And that's why we're going to realise that abundance that we do already have within us. So I think it just seems like there's a lot of readdressing of the environment for us within that period there. And then you get the Three of Pentacles, which is absolutely beautiful to finish with. This is where we can then start really doing some good, clear work with the earth, with the sun, with the energy. What comes out and the outcome of all of this is our realization of the good quality that we have, humans, and how we can apply it within nature, within the world, within the sun, within energy. And this is where then it's energy, the earth and the sun will then also bring their qualities to the table. And that's when that whole sort of thing is going to shine. And I think that's going to be because of that tower moment there, where we're going to realize that we're actually quite insignificant, and we have very little effect on what is going on really on this planet and in the universe, in a very physical sort of sense. Once we realize that, then we can really take our place naturally within everything that is around us. So there you go, collective and the Astroflower family. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe, clicking those bells, sharing, liking, commenting, all of those sort of things. It really helps us out. There's loads of links in the description below as well, which you can discover a lot more about the Astroflower. Yes, absolutely beautiful. It's great to be back. Had a bit of a break, obviously, and it's great to be back. You will have your individual sign readings for the year of 2024, and I will try and organise a live reading, where you can ask questions according to the 2024 readings next week. Okay, there's loads more going on, so get involved in the community page, because we're going to be opening up the Astroflower for its development by asking you what you want to be, what you want to see, and what you want to be involved in. Yes, in the meantime, all I can say is don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.